What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to Talk with Sports with Jake. Hope you're doing well. So, by the time I record this is 3 o'clock. Hopefully, gonna see you at 5. Might be a little bit later, possibly even closer to 8 o'clock. Recapping everything with the NBA trade deadline. A lot of moves are happening. Just trying to get all these down on paper so I know what I'm talking about. We got moves still coming through. I actually have my phone open and my laptop open. So if any trades come through, I can get them to you guys as best as possible. But I'll be doing the show again tomorrow. So, I can do it. So I can recap anything that we missed tomorrow as well, and maybe just do an overview of this is everything that happened, in case you forgot. First of all, Mets re-signed Pete Alonso, 2 years, $54 million. He gets $30 million in year one. He has a player option in year two in 2026. That's worth $24 million. He gets a $10 million signing bonus. Very happy the Mets brought him back. Yes, he last couple of years has regressed. 2 years ago, did have 406 homers, 118 RBIs, but it only hit like 217. This past year only hit 240, but 34 homers, 88 RBIs. Was overall good in the playoffs. He did struggle down the stretch, but had that big home run in Game 3 against Milwaukee, and the rest of the way in the postseason did play pretty well. He's gotten a little bit better defensively. Gives you some protection behind Alonso. He's still a legit middle-of-the-order threat in any lineup, even if he's not the guy that we thought a few years ago, would possibly be, a Hall of Fame caliber guy, but still like great power hitting first baseman. And he's got a shot to be the Mets all-time home run leader if he stays, through next year. So that's exciting. And he's back with the Mets. It needed to happen. It made too much sense not to happen. His owner definitely screwed him over for us. I mean, Mets offered him $7 for $158 last year. He said no. No, he wanted a 6-year deal worth $175 to $200 million. That was never going to happen. And then he is now back with the New York Mets, which I'm very happy about. Let's get into the NBA trade deadline stuff. So Jimmy Butler was traded to the Golden State Warriors. Warriors get him. This is very complicated, so do not go anywhere. Make sure you turn up the volume right now. Because this trade was very complicated. There's still things kind of going on with this, even though this broke last night. In return, originally it was Miami getting Andrew Wiggins, P.J. Tucker, Kyle Anderson. And then Schroeder ends up getting rerouted a couple of times. So what ends up happening was the Heat originally got Andrew Wiggins from the Warriors, P.J. Tucker, because there's a couple other teams involved. They get P.J. Tucker in this deal. They get him as well. They get Kyle Anderson from the Golden State Warriors. And then they get a top 10 protected first in 2025 from the Warriors. If the Warriors end up with a top 10 pick, they would get an unprotected first from 2020 in 2026 from the Warriors. Then Schroeder was supposed to go to the Heat. Then it said no, he's actually going to the Jazz. But the Jazz actually just traded him to Detroit. They send KJ Martin, Josh Richardson, who they got from the Heat in this trade, as well as a second-round pick in 2028 for Dennis Schroeder. So he's found his way to Detroit. And the Pistons also got Lindy Waters in this deal from Golden State. Jimmy Butler has gotten a 2-year, $121 million extension from the Warriors. So first of all, Butler said he wasn't going to sign in Golden State. Who knows? Maybe he didn't think that they would offer him that deal. Maybe Golden State was like, I don't know if I want to give him $60 million, and they just caved. But so first of all, Butler, it's a little hypocritical. So he's in Golden State. I think the Heat actually did a really good job. Pat Riley and the Heat were put in a really tough position with this one. Yes, it's on them for not doing enough to build around them. But Jimmy Butler, he was acting, he's a free agent to be. He's 35 years old. He wants a big contract. They're put in a tough spot. So I applaud the Heat for doing a good job. You got Andrew Wiggins, who's become a very good player, was number one overall pick back in 2015 by the Timberwolves. Yeah, was one of the least efficient players in the league in Minnesota. But since going to Golden State, has gotten a lot better. Has been a more efficient scorer. He was once a liability defensively. He has completely reversed course on that. He's a very good defensive player, averaging 17 points a game this year on 44% shooting, 37 from the line for his career. He averages 18 from the field on 44, almost 45 from the field, shooting 35% from three for his career. He's gotten better as his career has gone on. He's a vet. He is, but you know, he's a vet. He's 29 years old. He's a solid scorer, very good defender. He's a good player. They also get Kyle Anderson in the deal. It was weird. Like he originally was gonna be rerouted to Toronto, then that fell through. So he ends up going to Miami after all. He's a good defender, not much of a scorer, but he can shoot the ball a little bit. Shooting 45 from the field, shooting 36 from three this year. He's a 34% three-point shooter for his career, so he's been up and down from that. Like 2 years ago, he shot 41 with Minnesota. Last year, Minnesota didn't even shoot 23% from three, but he's shooting 36 from three this year. So he's a streaky three-point shooter, but he has the ability to shoot from out there. He's a very good defender as well on the bench, and also. So Davion Mitchell, they ended up flipping PJ Tucker to Toronto for Davion Mitchell. That's a really good move for the Heat. He's been quite the star. We thought he was going to be coming out of Virginia a few years ago when the Kings took him in the top 10. But he's a pretty good shooter. He's a great defender. He's a really good defender. And he's, for his career, this is his fourth year in the league. He's only shot 30% from three for his career, but shooting 35, almost 36 this year and shot 36 last year. So he's gotten better every year as a three-point shooter, and he's a really good defender. So that's a nice piece for Miami to have. I think they liked him coming out. They just didn't have a high enough pick to draft him. I know a lot of fans liked him coming out. So he's now in Miami. So he basically got Andrew Wiggins, Davion Mitchell, Kyle Anderson, and a first rounder this year. And then you send out, and then you traded away Josh Richardson as well. So Butler and Josh Richardson, basically, you give those guys up. You get back, basically, Andrew Wiggins, Davion Mitchell, Kyle Anderson, the first-round pick. That's actually a good return, considering the circumstances. So he, actually, I think, did a good job in this trade. But Golden State, they get Jimmy Butler. They give up a bunch of players in the first-round pick, so they better hope this works. Lakers continue to make moves. They get Mark Williams for Dalton Connect, Cam Reddish, an unprotected first in 2031, and a swap rights in 2030. Look, Mark Williams, a pretty good fit there, but that's a massive overpay to me. Connect was probably the rookie of the year for Jared McCain out for the season. And you traded him for Mark Williams. Like, Williams is a good player. He's a good athlete for a guy his size. But, like, he's averaging this year 15 points and 9 rebounds, shooting 50% from the field, right? That's good. He's a nice lob threat for Luka over there. But the guy has never made a three in his career. It's his third year in the league. He's got good measurables. Like, he's a decent athlete. He's a good inside scorer. He's a good rebounder. But he has no ability to stretch the floor. He's not overly impactful defensively. And to trade a potential star and Connect, who was a rookie this year, not even playing 21 minutes a game and is averaging over 9 points a game, shooting 46 from the field, 35, almost 36 from three. I don't understand why you would do that. And you give up a first and swap rights. I get the first is not for 6 years, but I would not have given up a Don't Connect for Mark Williams. I get the Lakers desperately needed the big. They need the big one, and they had Anthony Davis. Now you trade him. You really need the big man. You get it. For Don't Connect, you basically have to win a championship here. Otherwise, you're in a tough spot going forward. I still don't think they're going to win a championship. Are they probably a top 3 team in the Western Conference? I think the Lakers are. The only teams that really measure up are Oklahoma City and maybe Denver. I think they at least would beat Houston in a 7-game series. Would do the same thing with Memphis. I think they're better than Golden State, even with them getting Jimmy Butler. What they give up for Jimmy Butler. So, but I could see them losing even in the conference semis, to be honest. But that's a move that happened. The Raptors made a surprising move. They get not Cam Reddish. He was in that Mark Williams trade. They get Brandon Ingram from the New Orleans Pelicans. They send Bruce Brown, Kelly Olynyk, and a first and a second-round pick to the Pelicans. This trade didn't make a lot of sense for me for the Raptors. Look, I get the guys you trade aren't in your future plans. Bruce Brown's a free agent to be. He's a good player, a very good defender. He's a decent scorer, averaging 8 points a game and 19 minutes a game this year. He's shooting 40% from three. From the field. He's not a great shooter, 33% for his career, but he shot well from three in the past. His last year in Brooklyn in 22, Shot over 40%, shot 35 with Denver, but with Indy he shot 32 and 31 respectively last year between Toronto and Indiana. Shot just 29 this year, so very streaky shooter, but pretty good scorer. Very good defender, NBA champion. He's got a lot of playoff experience. He won a championship 2 years ago in Denver. He's a good player. Kevin Lang he's a solid backup stretch 5. He's 33. He's been around the league for a while. He's averaging 7 points a game this year, shooting 50 from the field, 44 from 3. So he's a very good scorer. He's a good shooting big man, on your bench. He's probably going to get 2 pretty good players back. I wonder if they flip in the coming minutes, if they flip any of those guys, especially Brown, since he's going to hit the market next year. And like Ingram's really good. Like this year he's averaging 22, 5 and 5. He averages 19, 5 and 4 for his career. Shooting 46 from the field, 37 from 3. That's basically right in line with his career averages. He's a very good player, but the guy is always hurt. He has not played 70 games or more since his rookie year in 2017. These are the amount of games he's played in his career. He's been in the league for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. This is his 9th year in the league. This is the amount of games he's played. 79, 59, 52, 62, 61, 55, 45, 64. He's only played 18 this year. So he's always hurt. He's going to be a free agent. The Raptors are out of the race. They are terrible. They're 5.5 games out of a play-in spot. And they make this move. If you re-sign him, I kind of get it. If he leaves, this is a stupid trade and a complete waste. Like, first of all, if I'm Ingram, I'd want to go to a contender. Right? He's still young. He's still 27 years old. But this is a very good player. This is a borderline all-star when he's healthy. I would want to go to a legit contender. And also, like, you have a bunch of wings. You have Scotty Barnes and RJ Barrett really there. RJ is a much better 3 than a 2. Barnes, to me, is not really a great shooting guard. He's just the way he's built. He's very thin, but he's also very tall. I prefer him at the 3 than a 2. So I don't really know where you're playing all these guys. You're going to have to move one of those guys to the bench, which doesn't make a lot of sense. I mean, Barnes, to me, could be a star. I mean, you trade OG Anunoby for RJ Barrett, so you would think they view him pretty highly. Now you give up, 2 pretty good 2 pieces and two picks for Ingram. I would think they trade from with the with the intent of re-signing him, because even if they can get into the play-in, even if they get like the 6th seed in the Eastern Conference, like, you're not beating any of the first 3 teams in the East, which are Cleveland, Boston, and the New York Knicks. It's not going to happen. Like, it's just not going to happen. So, if you can finally get the 5 seed and they are playing like Indiana or Orlando, maybe, but even still, I don't see it. And I don't see them getting up that high. I don't see them getting... Maybe they can get like an 8 seed. They can get into the play-in. Maybe they sneak out of the play-in, but then they're going to get shellacked by most likely Boston or Cleveland in the first round. That's your ceiling. There is no shot at winning a championship, even with this move. So that was kind of a surprising trade to me. Nurkic is on the move. Sun said Nurkic and a 2026 first for the Hornets for Cody Martin, Vasily Micic, and a 26 second. Look, Nurkic is just cooked. He's got nothing left. Injuries have killed that guy's career. But if you're sure this makes sense, you absorb a contract, get yourself a future first. Where the Suns are going, Nurkic, you send Nurkic out. Kevin Durant, there's a good chance he might get traded. I think he'll be traded in the offseason. He might be on the team by the end of next year. That could be a pretty high draft pick. The Suns might have a lot of it. The Hornets might get an extra lottery pick next year. Cody Martin, he's a okay bench player. Same thing with Micic. They're just depth pieces, and you give up a second. So Suns are able to dump him. Had to give up a first to do it, but which isn't great considering they have no picks. But that you give up, you get back 2 rotational pieces. They need all definitely they can get, and then for the Hornets, you get a possible future lottery pick. And then a guy that you can either flip or buy out and don't give up a whole lot. And then the Hawks make a couple of moves. They trade DeAndre Hunter to the Cavs for Karis LeVert, Georges Niang, 3 second-round picks, and 2 pick swaps. So, big move for the Hawks and Cavs there. This is surprising. So, Hunter's a good player. He won a Natty at Virginia. Was, I think, the 5th pick in the draft. This year, averaging 19 points a game, shooting 46 from 3, 46 in the field, 39 from 3. So, really good scorer, really good shooter. A nice pickup for the Cavs. They give up a good amount for him, though. They give up, LeVert. He's not been the player we thought he was going to be when he came up with Brooklyn, and he had that one really good year of Indiana. But this year, averaging just 10 points a game, shooting 45 from 40 from 3. He's a solid shooter on the bench. That's basically what he is. So that's something for Atlanta. See how old he is. He's now 30. Niang is basically the same thing. He's a 3-point shooter on your bench this year, averaging 8 points a game, 47 from 3 from the field, 40 from 3. That's about his career average. He's now thinking his 9th year. I'm like, he's 31 years old. So you get 2 3-point shooters on your bench, and then you get the picks as well. So a pretty good return for Hunter if you're Atlanta, and then so that's a bit of a risk for the Cavs to pick up DeAndre Hunter. You get the Clippers trade. Clippers make a trade with the Hawks. They trade Terrence Mann and Bones Hyland to Atlanta for Bogdan Bogdanovic in 3 seconds. So, Mann, I mean, that's basically 2 average bench guys. Terrence Mann is averaging 6 points a game, 44 from the field, 34 from 3. He's a decent 3-point shooter. He can score a little bit, can shoot a little bit. He's just an average bench player. It's weird. They just gave him a 3-year extension, like at the beginning of the season. So that's surprising they traded him this quick. And Bones Hyland, he actually was very good in Denver, I thought. His first 2 years. Has fallen out of favor a little bit with the Clippers, hasn't played as much, but he's averaging 7 points a game and 11 minutes a game, 39 from the field, shooting 38% from 3. So he's a good shooter if nothing else. And 3-point shooting is obviously very key in today's game. But Bogdanovic has had a down year this year, only averaging 10 points a game, only shooting 30% from 3, but he's a 38% career 3-point shooter. He was drafted in 2014, now 32 years old. He's had a lot of injuries this year. When he's healthy, he's a very good sharpshooter that the Clippers acquire. So I think that's a good move for the Clippers to bring in Bogdanovic if he's healthy. To finish up, a few more deals that happened, and a bunch that just came through my phone. I gotta read through all of them. Kings get Jonas Valanciunas for Stacey Sacco in 2 seconds. So that's a good move. He's definitely a very good player. Been around for a while. This year, he's been stuck with the freaking Wizards. Just the death of the NBA at this point. He's averaging 11 points and 8 boards, shooting 54% from the field. Doesn't stretch the floor the way he used to. Shooting just under 26 from 3. He's been getting a lot worse as the years have gone on, but still a decent scorer. Good rebounder. He's a good vet. He's been around a while. He's got some playoff experience. He's now 32 years old. You get him basically for nothing. So an interesting move of the Kings who traded Fox away and they got back Zach LaVine in that trade, and then you get a bunch of draft capital. Now you go out and get Valanciunas. I did need another big for what it's worth. You put him next to Sabonis. That's not bad. Thunder pick up Daniel Tyson, some draft comp from the Pelicans. That's just a salary dump from the Pelicans. Knicks traded Jericho Sims to the Bucks for DeLon Wright. Sims, you took him to the second round a few years ago. You thought, all right, he can jump out of the gym. We'll see if his skills develop, and they just didn't. You send him out, you get DeLon Wright, who he sucks. It's just like the 14th player on every team for the 14th player on every team kind of trade. And let's get some cash in the deal. Who cares? On the Bulls, actually extend Lonzo Ball 2 years, $20 million. He hasn't played bad. He's not the guy he was before. Beforehand, he was a really solid 3-and-D guy. Maybe not the guy that was the second overall pick out of UCLA, but he was a guy who's a really good 3-and-D guy. But he's averaging 7 points a game this year. Obviously, he's not been totally healthy. He's missed 3 years in a row with various knee injuries, shooting only 34% from 3. But he's been an okay scorer. He's still been a pretty good defender. Maybe as he plays a little more, he can find himself a little bit. He's still just 27, but I mean, $10 million a year in the NBA now is nothing. You're basically a death player at that point. But he was extended, and now let's see these other moves that happened. The Grizzlies traded Marcus Smart to the Wizards for a 2025 first. Oh, no, and a 25 first for 2 seconds. So, Marcus Smart, first of all, I'm very sorry you had to play for the Wizards. Marcus Smart and the first this year to Washington for 2 seconds. They just said, Marcus Smart, get the hell out of here. So that's a move that happened. So that's a good move for the Wizards. You get Smart and the first for 2 seconds. The Clippers traded Kevin Porter Jr. to the Bucks from Marhan Beauchamp. Kevin Porter is actually a pretty rotational piece. The problem is he's a complete idiot. He's had like a zillion different like arrests and incidents. Beauchamp is a deaf piece that's basically a talented player, but with a lot of baggage for like a bench warmer. So kind of a random trade there. Pacers sent James Wiseman and Cash to Toronto. He's out by the ERA with a torn Achilles. He should have been so good coming out of Memphis. He honestly should have stayed in there the years. He didn't play a lot that first year. He got suspended for taking some money under the table with the recruiting stuff. So that stuff was weird. He didn't get he was so raw coming out. He needed to play, and he went to Golden State, who was coming off that weird year. Like they had a championship, and then like Durant left, and Steph was hurt, and Clay was hurt, and Draymond was hurt. So they ended up with the worst record ever, like not ever, but in the league. So he didn't get to play. He had injuries, and then just didn't work out. And then he goes to Indiana, where he tore his Achilles right out of the gate. But he's now in Toronto, which he might get a shot to play there, maybe next year. So that's not a bad spot for him. So that's a move that happened, and that I think. Oh, we have one more. It's an updated Marcus Smart trade. So Smart and a first to the Wizards. The Kings are involved now. The Kings get Jake LaRavia, I've never even heard of. He's just named me. I don't know. And a second rounder. The back goes. Jesus Christ! This deadline is making my head spin. The Kings get Jake LaRavia. There's a second round pick and Colby Jones to the Grizzlies, and then Alex Len goes to Washington. I forgot that I was in the league. And Smart and a first go to Washington. So the Wizards get Alex Len, Smart, and a first. The Kings get a second rounder. The Kings get Jake LaRavia, and the Grizz get a Colby Jones and a second round pick. So, wow trade. Smart's a good player. Very good defender, if nothing else. A lot of playoff experience, and they get a first round pick. So, that's the NBA trade deadline. Any moves that happen between now and tomorrow, I'll talk about that tomorrow. That's all I got for you guys today. Until next time, so long. Have a great day.